You typed out the whole message, every word of how you actually felt. And then, right before you hit send, you deleted all of it and wrote 3 letters instead. K. You told yourself it wasn't worth it, that they wouldn't get it anyway. But that's not what happened, is it? You had so much to say. You just swallowed it. And later, when they asked why you got so quiet, you said the 2 words you always say, I'm fine. Which, if we're being honest, has never once meant fine. People have a word for you when you do this. Cold, distant, shut off. Maybe someone has said it to your face, that you punish people with your silence. And some quiet part of you believed them. Here's what I want you to sit with for the next few minutes. That silence you've been apologizing for your whole life? It isn't a flaw, and it isn't you being difficult. It's one of the most protective things a human nervous system knows how to do. And almost nobody ever explained that to you. I'm glad you're here. This is cognitive psychology. And today, we're getting into the mind of the person who goes quiet when they're hurt. Stay with me, because by the end, you're going to understand something about yourself you've never had the words for. Let's start with the thing everyone gets wrong about you. When you go quiet, people assume you decided to. Like you weighed your options and chose to shut them out. Like it's a move, a punishment. But that's not what happens inside you at all. When something hurts, your body shifts before your mind can catch up. Your chest gets tight. The words move somewhere you can't reach them. And the idea of explaining a feeling you haven't even finished feeling, it's not hard, it's impossible. Researchers who study stress, like Dr. Peter Levine, describe the freeze response as just as hardwired as fight or flight. When pain feels too big to handle in real time, your brain pulls an emergency brake. Research even suggests the part of your brain that produces language goes quieter in those moments. So when someone stands in front of you saying, "Just talk to me," and nothing comes out, that's not stubbornness. Your brain made words harder to reach on purpose because it's busy doing something more urgent, holding you together. You're not shutting anyone out. You're holding yourself in. Psychologists sometimes call this emotional withdrawal, but the clinical name misses what matters most. It was never coldness. It's a nervous system that learned, somewhere along the way, that quiet hurts less than being misread. But here's where it turns. Because you weren't born like this. No one is. Babies scream. Toddlers fall apart on the grocery store floor with zero shame. Kids feel out loud until something teaches them not to. At some point, something taught you that showing the hurt out loud would cost you. Maybe you grew up comforting everyone else. You listened, you helped. You were the steady one, and the one time you brought your own feelings to the table, they got belittled. So you did the smart thing. You learned to comfort yourself instead. You went quiet. And honestly, it was more peaceful in there. The psychologist John Bowlby spent his career on one idea, that how we handle pain comes straight from our earliest relationships. When being open early led to more pain, the nervous system never forgets it. It pulls that lesson out every time something hurts. Decades later, different people, same reflex. And maybe you can only open up and get disappointed so many times before you just stop. That's not weakness. That's a survival skill your younger self built. And it worked. It's the reason you made it here. Now here's the part almost nobody sees. While everyone reads you as blank, checked out, not caring, your mind is louder than theirs will ever be. Research links this kind of quiet to heightened activity in the parts of the brain tied to self-reflection. However quiet you look outside, the monologue inside never once stops. Did I cause this? Was I fair? If I speak now, will it land right or make everything worse? You're not avoiding the problem. You're stress testing every angle before a single word leaves your mouth. Everyone sees still water and assumes nothing's underneath. You've always known, still water runs deep. But there's something about you that confuses people. One day you're warm, present, funny even, and the next you've gone quiet again and they can't figure out what they did. They call it moody, flaky. But it was never a mood. Staying open takes fuel, and yours runs out faster because you're feeling everything at full volume the whole time. Some of you have learned to say it straight. I get overwhelmed, and I need a little space before I can talk it through. That retreat isn't you pulling away, it's the only way you know how to come back at all. And this next part gets missed the most. Because it says everything about who you actually are. Part of your silence is you protecting the people you love. Be honest with yourself. You already know this is true. You go quiet because you're scared that whatever leaves your mouth will hurt them worse than they ever hurt you. And you know something a lot of people never learn. Once a cruel thing is said, it's said. No apology puts it back. There's a concept psychologists call the window of tolerance, the zone where real conversation is actually possible. Pushed outside of it, flooded and raw, nobody hears anything clearly. You knew this before anyone gave it a name. That's why you wait. What everyone reads as you attacking the relationship is often the last thing standing guard over it. But here's the cruel irony, and this one stings. The exact thing that would help you open up is almost always the opposite of what you get. People push. They follow you from room to room. They corner you and won't let you stay quiet, even though they've made it clear they don't want to hear what you'd say. They just want something to hold against you. And every time, it confirms the oldest belief you carry, that your feelings are only allowed if they're instant, loud, and on everyone else's schedule. What you actually need is the hardest thing to ask for. Patience without pressure. Someone who can sit in the discomfort of your silence and trust you'll come back, without making your stillness about them. And it's worth being honest about what silence costs you too. It saves you from being misunderstood, but it also cuts off the chance to be fully known. You trade the risk of being twisted for the certainty of being unseen, and for a long time that trade feels worth it, because being invisible is quieter than being misrepresented. And now the thing that doesn't get said nearly enough. Because you don't speak until you're ready, when the words finally come. They mean everything. You've turned them over 100 times. Check them for fairness, for truth, for whether they're worth the weight they'll carry. You don't throw accusations to win. You don't weaponize a feeling in the heat of the moment. So when you finally tell someone how you feel, it isn't a reaction, it's a conclusion. And that is genuinely rare. In a world full of people who say everything the second they feel it, and mean maybe half of it, you say less, and you mean all of it. That's not emotional unavailability. That's emotional integrity. There's a difference, even when the wrong people can't see it. So let it land. You go quiet because your nervous system is guarding you. Because you learned early that being open had a price. Because you feel things at a depth most people never reach. And because part of you is always, quietly, protecting everyone else from your own storm. You are not cold. You are not manipulative. You're not broken, or too much, or somehow not enough. You're someone who feels completely, and takes their time to understand it before speaking. And the right people won't be scared of your silence. They'll learn it was never distance. It was presence. The deepest kind there is. So tell me, which part of this felt uncomfortably close to home? Drop it in the comments. Someone reading them tonight probably needs to know they're not the only one. And if this finally handed you the words for something you've carried a long time, that's why this channel exists. Subscribe so we can keep decoding these hidden corners of the mind together. And if someone you love goes quiet the moment they're hurt, send this to them, not to fix them, just so they feel a little more understood. Thank you for being here with Cognitive Psychology. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.